My name is Shivij, this is the coding tree, and today we're going to be writing our first ever piece of code. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video, but be sure to tune into the next video in the series, which I'm uploading today, which is going to help make our code more dynamic. So right off the bat, let's talk about languages. We're going to start our programming journey in Python, a simple yet powerful language that is used all throughout the industry for various things, namely machine learning and data science as two big factors in Python. Our first step is going to be to set up our IDE, or as you recall, Integrated Development Environment. And as you recall, this will also house our compiler, the tool that is in charge of turning your code into machine code. Let's start off with the IDE that you will be using. Now, there are many different options that you can choose here. Let's talk about the first option, to download and set up your IDE on your own personal computer. The IDEs that I recommend for this is downloading Anaconda and using Spider, as it is pretty simple and doesn't require you to download Python separately, or I recommend you to download PyCharm, which will require you to download Python separately, but I will link plenty of guides in the description for both Mac and Windows users. I personally think that this is a more future-proof strategy, but it is definitely a bit more complex. So do it if you can, but otherwise just use our second option. The second option is just to use an IDE on the internet. Now, this won't nearly be as powerful, but it'll get the job done and is decent enough for you to write some really good code. I personally recommend using Repl.it. If you're using a downloaded IDE, usually the process of creating your own file is along the lines of hitting File, New File, titling your file and hitting OK, and make sure that the file ending has .py. .py, of course, denoting a Python file. And now to the long-awaited moment, your first ever line of code. In the world of programming, it's considered good luck to start your computer science journey with a simple line of code that just prints "Hello World" to the screen. Which is why I've always started these videos off with "Hello World." Now, the code for doing so is actually pretty simple. It's up on the screen now. All it is print, open parentheses, open quotation mark, "Hello World," closing quotation mark, closing parentheses, and you're done. That's the entire line for writing your first ever program. Here, you're invoking a function called print, which is not written by you, but is written by the people who develop Python. You're calling that function and you're passing in the words "Hello World," so that the function knows to print "Hello World" to your screen. Don't worry if you don't know what all of this means. It'll all make sense in the coming weeks, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Now all you have to do is hit run, and your words should print into the console. Boom! You've written your first ever program with Python. Alright, now that you've written your first ever program in Python, the next step is to look at more dynamic code. I cover this in this video. Click on it now to continue your computer science journey. Also, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it and you learned something. It helps me out a lot, and it helps you stay tuned for my future content. That's all for now. See ya!